When Tilly turns up in the town, she hasn't been in the town for 20 years, if not more. She was sent away from the town when she was a 10-year-old girl. She was accused wrongfully of being responsible for the death of a school friend, well, fellow classmate. And it was a terrible thing that this town really kind of clubbed together and ostracized this little girl and sent her away, separated her from her mother. And as a consequence, her adult life and the rest of her childhood was really quite turbulent and difficult for her at times. And so she hasn't been in this town since she was 10 years old, and here she is, 30-something, and she comes back. And she's ultimately coming back to seek some level of, yes, revenge on the one hand, but also clarity, because it's so long ago that even she can't remember whether she really was responsible for this child's death or not. And it's distorted so much in her mind, and it's affected her life so much up until this point right now. So we meet her at the beginning of the story when she steps off the bus and she says, "I'm back, you bastards." And she really has come back to figure it all out and perhaps, yes, take out a little bit of revenge on those who were so awful to her as a child. I was just very taken by how different she was as a woman to anything I'd read, I think, for quite a while. She has there's a strength in her that is really unflinching and almost sort of aggressive at times, just because she has had to overcome so many challenges in her own life in order to just stay strong and be the person that she is, and to be able to do the job that she does as well as she does do it. So I really admired, I think, her very powerful sense of self. And she's vulnerable, but does a really good job of hiding it. This incredible colour, beautiful fabrics that Tilly brings from France, they're endlessly being delivered in tea chests into this town. And it really does something very, very striking to the visual image of the story. They go from looking sort of pale and a bit tea-stained to looking like they're all walking down a red carpet. I mean, it's really quite striking. Yes, I very much so did, yeah. No, the only sewing I could do was, kids' name tape labels in the back of their school uniforms or on bloody socks or things like that, and mending the odd cushion. So, I mean, I always like the idea that one day I will be able to really sew really, really well. And I've spent a lot of my adult life thinking, oh, this year I'm going to learn to sew. Oh, no, that didn't happen. Okay, well, this year I am really going to learn to sew. And then the next it doesn't happen. Then, oh, no, this year I'm really going to do it. And then all I can tell you is that this year I really did learn to sew. I was fortunate enough to be supplied with the Singer sewing machine that we do use in the film. Someone came and taught me to use it really, really well, and I can use it, and I know what all the little bits and fittings do, and I have really loved that side of playing this role, actually, because it's just so fun to learn something new, especially when you know that it really does add to the character, and you really do see me using the machine on film. And it's been great. But no, it was I spent a good month, really, pretty much every day learning how to use it. It's not easy. It's not like one of those modern things where you just push a button. It's much more technical than that. Liam rocked up and ruffled all our feathers about 2 weeks ago, bringing Teddy with him, and their relationship is it's really very, very sweet and tender. He's a sincere man. He has no airs, no graces. He looks like a right scruff pot most of the time, but he's utterly genuine, and in many ways he's exactly what Tilly needs and also has never experienced in her own life. Someone who really appreciates her, really sees her for who she is, and just says it. He's a very simple man. It's a black and white world that we live in, and he's just truthful and pure. And so it's a very sweet, endearing relationship that they do have, and he does propose to her, and they really do plan to get married, and then things happen and the story changes, and it's quite surprising, the twist and the turn that happens there. But it's a really, really lovely relationship that the two of them have. I've never read such hilarious one-liners that come out of Judy's mouth as there are in this script, and Judy, of course, delivers them so perfectly, so precisely, and so brilliantly every single time. And for me, I have to say, I think that has been the greatest thrill of this whole experience, is that I have worked with Judy and loved every single second of it. And when she isn't here, because there are some days when she isn't on, I really miss her and I can't wait for her to come back. She's got the most fantastic stories to tell about her life and the experiences she's had working with other actors and directors, and she's such a generous actress. And I can honestly say we've just gotten along just great, and the mother-daughter relationship that we've been trying to create together, I think we're both hoping will have lots of really nice levels to it. You know, it isn't just antagonistic and, you know, crushing one-liners from Judy and sort of slightly somber responses from Tilly. You know, it is a very loving relationship. These women were pulled apart when Tilly was a child, and that, as a consequence, sent the mother mad and sent Tilly into a colossal depression for the majority of her life, from which she has now emerged, because these two women come back together and really do love and need each other, actually. I think Jocelyn, as a director and writer of this piece, I think she loves the story so much, and whenever a director has that level of commitment and passion for the piece that they're really trying to put together, and the story that they want to tell in their very own specific way, it's always a much more enjoyable experience, and that's absolutely the case with Jocelyn. I think her excitement and her effervescence for these characters and for this town, she sort of loves everybody in it. She loves all of the characters, even the horrible ones.
Hey guys, did you know that Pierce Brosnan was contractually forbidden from wearing a full tuxedo in any non-James Bond movie from 1995 to 2002? For this and more movie facts, click on more videos. But if you want something else, click on the playlist.